Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 14. What a crazy week! All the COVID stuff. All 50 states now have somebody who's been infected. The healthcare systems are really seeing higher volumes. The restaurants that are only doing takeout, grab and go orders now. The schools being all online. Yeah, it's a little crazy. And then some of you may have noticed in a post I wrote yesterday that we had a 5.7 earthquake here in Utah, and that's not an everyday occurrence with us. You guys who live or have been in California are much more used to that than we are in Utah. So, yes, it's been a crazy week. So this week and next week, I'm actually working from home, and then we'll see after that. This is my office set up here downstairs. I like at least I've got some sunlight, right? So it's a good thing. And it did seem from the updates that you guys gave us, and I appreciate that, that all of you are still relatively healthy right now. So I hope that remains the case. I'm going to continue praying for you just like I do every night. Okay, so housekeeping items. We are now about 3 weeks from the end of the course. You do have to complete all of your 150 practicum hours by the end of the course. That's not an optional thing. I can't accept any late hours. But myself and GCU are being flexible about how you complete those hours. Of course, our first preference would be if you still have access to your practicum site and to staff or students, that you continue with those activities. That would be wonderful. Okay, if that's not possible, then you've got online activities. Do you have access to staff or students online? Do you have access to your preceptor online through video chat, through phone calls? I think it would be really interesting to really dig into how your preceptor is being impacted during this time, how their educational efforts are changing during this time. So I think that would be kind of interesting. And then finally, if you don't have access to staff or students, you can't participate actively in educational activities, then you're going to work at home on a project. You're going to work something out with your preceptor, maybe something that they'll be teaching in the spring or summer. Maybe you can do research on a topic. Maybe you can come up with PowerPoint slides about a topic. You can do anything like that to complete these last portion of your hours, and that will be acceptable. Okay, just make sure they are completed and that you've got them logged in Tython and your preceptor is passing those off, signing those off for you, because that will be really important. Okay, I just want to stress that every assignment definitely has to be in by the last day of class at midnight. I can't accept any late assignments. And there are several assignments in week 15 that require you to coordinate with your preceptor or others. Please carefully read those instructions, those directions, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, now back to this week. I should finish scoring your week 13 papers either today or tomorrow. I think I'm about a third of the way through those. This week, our DQ is about scholarship of teaching and learning. So there's always something new to learn about in education. There's always research being done. And I have my CNE, and so I need to get 50 CEs over a 5-year, spread out over a 5-year period for every 5-year renewal cycle that I have. So that's not too bad. The CEs, though, do need to correlate with each of those NLN nurse educator competencies. So I do a wide range of professional development. Much of it is online, and some of it's from professional journals, some of it's from professional organizations I belong to, just kind of depends on what it is. So what area is of special interest to you? I'm really looking forward to hearing about that and your thoughts. So there's so many. Okay, oh, you will hear the heater kick on in the back room. The office down here is also my workout room, so that I have a place where I can control the heat and air conditioning for this room without affecting the rest of the house. So it's kind of cool, but you might hear that in the background. Okay, as far as assignments go, we do have 2 of those due this week, right? The first one is the usual NEPD form. You guys are all pros at that by now. Just really be sure that you look at your last submission. You look at my comments. I might have had a question or 2 in there. Make sure you're using that form so you can see all of my notes. Okay. The second assignment is about evaluation of the learning that took place during your teaching. Now, if you collected any formal data, such as a final quiz, a skills pass-off, something like that, it's going to be easier for you to do this assignment, right? But even if you collected your data through verbal questioning, that's fine. You're just going to need to provide me a little more detail or description about that. So this paper is 500 to 800 words. The areas of focus for this one are: describe how you gathered your data. Was it a quiz, a skills pass-off, verbal questionings, a case study? What was it? How did you gather that data? Describe the data, whether it's qualitative or quantitative data. I need some description about that. An analysis of your data to determine whether student learning took place and to what degree, and how this data will be used to help with further teaching. We've discussed that a little bit, I think, in last week's DQ, but we'll be putting it on paper now. The rubric, again, calls for at least 1 reference, so make sure you have that. Now, as far as that part of analyzing the data, I'm not expecting like fancy statistics, unless you did do a quiz or a test and were able to run it through a program and got point by serial or all that stuff. What I'm really looking at mostly is like percentages. If it was a quiz, percentages. If it was a skills pass-off, how many were able to pass off the first time. If you ask critical thinking questions, how well did the students do with those? So probably percentages, I think, would be as high level of statistics as what I'll be looking for. And if you have any questions about your particular data, please just ask. And then how we have our main forum, and I put a little prayer forum. I'm also going to be putting a little COVID-19 forum. So if any of you want to share things going on in your area or things going on with you, please feel free to do that. We're all in this together, and we need to support each other, right? Okay, I think that's about it for this week. Please be safe, everybody. I'll see you in the main forum.